Name, where you from, and what do you do?
My name is Alex Ferror. I'm originally from São Paulo, Brazil, but I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm back to Atlanta, Georgia now. I'm an Atlanta guy. I'm a visual artist. I paint murals, I illustrate children books, and I paint.
You had a good time? What kind of projects you've been working on?
Well, I feel like Atlanta is the place where I became an artist, actually. I came to Atlanta in 2015, and that's when I started my first mural commissions, and then that's the place who embraced me as an artist and made me bloom as an artist. I lived here I also came to school here at the same time, lived here for almost 5 years, left Atlanta, moved to Lisbon, Portugal, lived there for 4 years. But I really miss the sense of community. I really miss the art community and the art scene and the vibrancy that this city has. And a year and a half ago, I came back, and that was the happiest decision I've ever had.
Bill, art.
I remember making art or drawing or playing with colors as, like since I was a baby, a toddler probably. But I want to say my very first memories were my big sister, who was 10 years older than me, bringing me coloring books, crayons, like markers. She was the first person who I actually looked up to. I mean, she's not an artist, but she was the first person I saw drawing. And I said, wow, I like that. I want to do the same thing. And she would doodle like smiling faces or like funny faces, and I would try to replicate that, and then I understood that was something that I loved doing, and she got that too, and then she was the one giving me my first art supplies. Yeah, it's funny story. I remember one day I was drawing by myself, and then my uncle and godfather asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said I want to be a artist, an illustrator, and a superhero. And then he laughed and walked away, So turns out I became an artist, a professional artist, and my work, not only my subject matter, but also my work is very related and connected to kids, to children. So I like to work a lot with children. I like to do workshops. I like to educate children on the potential art has as a career, and every time a kid tells me that now they see a pathway where they can become an artist because that's what they love to do, I feel like, okay, so it's a little bit of a superhero there, like, yeah, so it's almost like I told you. Yeah. Mostly whimsical work, very childlike, very colorful. I paint murals, and I feel like the best description people always give me of my murals are children books, illustrations on walls. So everything I do it's very whimsical, very colorful. My characters it's very character based. My characters are usually kids, like from toddlers to maybe pre-teenagers, but I like to I use them as allegories to actually deeper feelings, emotions. I just feel like we forget that kids are actually individuals, that they have their own view of the world, their own way to approach reality. It's just that most of they feel the same way we feel, they just see it through a different lenses that we lose over time. And I try to keep my lenses, like in that mode, and try to see even deeper thoughts or even when things are not as colorful as we wanted them to be, I want to paint them in a colorful way, in a whimsical way. I want to bring up smiles, even though you feel that something a little bit bitter there. I feel like you can do it in a cute way, I want to say. I knew it before because I've been following HighContrast, and I'm friends with Russ since the time I was living here. and I met Dosa at this time when I came back, and they invited me for the Fortuna show. So I saw some of the first cards because most of them were painted by friends, right, fellow Atlanta artists, and I got super excited to be a part of it. I was actually a little bit FOMO before I was part of it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a connoisseur of tarot at all. I mean, it's never been something that I was deeply interested into. I mean, and my knowledge of the cards are very small. Now, after doing some research, I saw there's many more cards than I thought there were. And an example of that is the card that I was randomly connected to is a card that I've never heard before, which is 10 of Swords. And I say, okay, interesting. Let's see what that is. And then I did the research on that, and all the first everything I took from there is very like. First, it was tough because it tells a lot of like betrayal, backstabbing, you know, and judgment, and pain. It was a dark card, and definitely with a high contrast, pun intended, to what my subject matter is. You know, like, so that was the very first challenge. How can I make that into something colorful, light, and what first of all, before I actually start sketching, what's the storytelling behind that card, behind what I want to create? So my idea for that would be, I want to show that sometimes you judged and people who are might stab you or something like that, but they never know the full story, so they never know who you really are. They probably see part of you and they judge that part of you, and they don't actually know what's behind, what is within. And second is, when you're in a situation like that, when you feel backstabbed, when you feel the pain coming from other people, you have two options. You can give anger back to the world, or you can convey that into love, or you can, because you can be empathetic with the pain, you can use that to release other people's pain, you know? So that's why I try to create here. So yeah, so see one of my characters here, definitely getting all the 10 swords on his back. But first, whoever saw from his back, they saw a monster, a little dragon or something like this, but that's just a kid inside. And also he has a little dragon, a stuffed toy on his hand, full of pins. And as he gets all the swords on his back, he's pulling all the pins from the little dragon, almost like releasing the little dragon out of his pain, even though he's feeling it. So that's a way to show that even though things might not be the way we wanted, instead of giving the bad things we get back to the world, we just convert it into good things. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I don't think I would paint another card, but I have a little list of the cards I would love to paint. Funny enough, now after painting this, the ones I would like to paint are exactly the ones more contrasting with the work I do. I would love to see, like, for instance, a death card painted by me, even though it has nothing to do with my work. So yeah, it was a very nice creative challenge, and I'm happy with the way it came out. I'm Alex Ferror in all my medias. So my main media is Instagram. So it's at Alex Ferror, Ferror. But my website is also alexferror.com.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.